Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Wonderful Friday night here in Western Pennsylvania. The weather keeps getting a little bit chillier, but Pittsburgh sports, it is only heating up. Back for another live stream here tonight, and we got a good bit to talk about. We are now under 48 hours from kickoff between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears, the black and gold going on the road to Soldier Field. It's still called that, right? Yeah, I didn't miss anything there. It's still called Soldier Field. Anyways, lots to talk about ahead of that game. We will be live for that game, by the way. Made the graphic just not too long ago. Hope you all, before I go on my whole spiel here, come back here on Sunday afternoon. Steelers, Bears, 1 o'clock kickoff. We will be live for that game. Live commentary and reactions as always. So hope you come back then. But today, talking about that game, we will get into the final injury reports and game designations for both squads and some big names on the injury report for both of these teams. What is the status on Aaron Rodgers and his hand injury? A new Steeler added to the injury report today. Bit of a shocker. Could he miss Sunday's game? The Bears, they are being hit heavily right now on defense. They are already down two starters at one singular position, maybe something the Steelers could attack. What all is going on the injury front for both these squads, we will start off the show talking about here in a moment. After that, we'll get into a little bit of Pittsburgh Pirates and Penguins. The Pirates last night making their first batch of signings as free agency for the MLB is nearing some more action. Mainly right now, it's just MLB teams re-signing their own. The Pirates bringing back two players who were on the roster last year. One that fans can be at least a little bit excited and optimistic about. One, not so much, and we're wondering, Pirates, what the hell are we doing here? Why is this guy still here? Who those two players are, we'll talk about, and then we will discuss the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. Tonight, back in action, puck drop a little after 7 o'clock against the Minnesota Wild. Their first game since Sunday, their last game over there in Sweden against the Nashville Predators. So it will be refreshing to get some Penguins hockey back in our lives here tonight. After all that, we'll get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news and wrap up the week of live streaming here on the channel before we go live Sunday for Steelers versus Bears. Before we officially get this show on the road here tonight, 4 of you in here already. I'm sure the number will continue to grow as we move along here tonight. If you're new here to the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button on your way in and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video or live stream again. Up to 638 subscribers on the channel, so gained one more since the last time we met last night. Appreciate that subscriber who did so. Also, leave a like on this live stream, share this live stream so we can get the viewership up here on the channel, and leave a comment in the comments section. Thoughts, questions, opinions, ideas, anything on your mind regarding Pittsburgh sports, get that in the comments section. I can pop it up on the screen right here at a moment's notice, just like this. To the comment section we go already here for the first time tonight. Regular viewer THP, welcome back, THP. Bears' record is better than their actual play, in my opinion, but they are very capable. I agree with that wholeheartedly, THP. You're talking about a Chicago team. Do they really have at all that statement win on their schedule yet? I think I heard something there. The collective record of the teams they have beaten is well below 500. At least, we are still pessimistic about how this Steelers team is going to look throughout the rest of the year, but at least they have a couple of statement wins. All of a sudden, that New England Patriots win in week 3, that looks pretty damn good. Them beating, trying to remember, the Indianapolis Colts, that one looks pretty good as well. So the Steelers do have a couple of statement wins against some good teams, and their losses, they have also been to some damn good teams as well. The Seahawks out west, they beat the Steelers. They look pretty damn good. Steelers lost to the Packers and Chargers. They're fighting at the top of their respective divisions right now. Really, the only stinker on the Steelers loss category right now is probably that Cincinnati Bengals Thursday night game. So, but yeah, Steelers, I mean, we're hard on them, but and for good reason too, just past experiences, how we've seen this team end seasons over the past, pushing half a decade now. But the Bears, their record is good right now. They're atop of the NFC North, and just waiting to see what kind of Bears team we are going to get here on Sunday. Are they going to be a team that does look very capable, like you said? New head coach Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams seems to be taking a step forward. That defense looks more legit there. They got some good playmakers on offense, but will the Steelers be able to expose some of their flaws, or are the Bears legit? We'll have to wait and find that out here on Sunday. Good point brought up there, THP. Going to start off the show here right now with the final injury report and game designations for both of these teams. And looking at those today, some major names on these lists. Let's start with the Steelers, of course. The big one, Aaron Rodgers, talking about his hand injury was, pretty much we knew was going to be questionable all week long. How's his hand going to hold up, protecting himself, taking snaps out there? Mike Tomlin said he'd be not practicing early in the week, and then they'll see if they can get him in later on in the week. Those projections from Mike Tomlin, they've turned out to be correct. Rodgers back out there today. seemed to be taking and catching snaps fine, and didn't really see if he did any under center work, but seems to be receiving the ball well. Getting it snapped to him and throwing the ball. I mean, doesn't look like that wrist is affecting any of his mechanics or not. Tomlin did meet with reporters. Pretty rare that he meets with reporters other than Tuesday. But he was, specially requested today. Says that the update on Rodgers is that he is status quo with his wrist injury. And Tomlin said, we'll see where the weekend leads us. Said that Rodgers is questionable after being a partial participant today. So Rodgers, you see there, top of this game status right there, questionable on your screen. The most worrying one, though, something we did not foresee. You see Rodgers at the top of the game status page there. At the bottom of that game status section, Cam Heyward being listed as questionable for Sunday's game, popping up with an ankle injury today. And it was reported by Alan Saunders and I think Nick Farabaugh, who do work for Pittsburgh Steelers Now and Penn Live. Heyward in a boot after practice in the Steelers locker room today. Not sure what foot or ankle that was that he had the boot on, but in a boot walking around the Steelers locker room after practice today. And it was reported by Saunders that he did not have this boot when he was photographed in the early portion of practice today. So no report, really beat writers aren't allowed to say whether he went down during practice or not, because majority of that is shut off to the media. But that is something we were not expecting to see today. The leader on that defensive line, great, job in pass defense, swatting balls down at the line of scrimmage, has been better in stopping the run as of late. Heyward now on short notice here, questionable for this weekend's game, and got to wonder, will the Steelers have the right horses and the right game plan to replace Heyward, should that be the case? I mean, it's been a pretty solid, job, just Cam Heyward, Derek Harmon, Keanu Benton out there. You mix in a little bit of Y.A. Black and I guess Azizi Otamemwo, but really none of those three have gone down for a big stretch at all this season. So how they're going to replace him, Heyward, if he will not be able to go, that is a big question here today. Some other things to take note of on the Steelers' final injury report here ahead of Sunday's game in Chicago. Jaylen Warren, he was out there practicing again today, looked like he was moving quite well. On the injury report, of course, for today, full practice, no game status. He will be good to go. It said that earlier in the week he could have gone back into the game against the Bengals if he wanted to, but the Steelers held him out of abundance of caution. Alex Highsmith, I believe this is the second or third straight day he has been limited with that pec injury, which, very much worries me. Got some PTSD from TJ Watt tearing his pec a couple of years ago. Highsmith, he is doubtful. Darius Slay, the other player with a game designation that we have not mentioned yet, still coming out of concussion protocol, missed last week's game with a concussion. He is questionable for Sunday. We'll see if he gets out of the protocol ahead of kickoff. Some other names, just taking note of here on the injury report. Cole Holcomb, full go today with his illness. I believe he was limited the past couple of days, but now it looks like whatever bug or virus, hopefully it was something like that, and nothing too serious, whatever it is, hopefully it's by him. Isaac Seumalo, he upgraded from his pectoral injury to just a resting veteran as well. Did not practice today, but just resting today. I assume that's just him giving the pec an extra day of rest. He should be good to go. Keyshawn Williams in concussion protocol as well. He is a full go. No game designation for him, so he should be all right. So good news all around there on the Steelers front. The only really worrying thing, Cam Heyward being questionable with that ankle injury. Hopefully it's, something that he'll be able to tape up for Sunday, maybe get a little bit of assistance, if you know what I mean, from the from the medical staff there, and he'll be able to go out there and perform. As for, Rodgers, Slay, Highsmith, my final thoughts on them. Highsmith, if he's doubtful, he's doubtful. If he doesn't play, I'm not going to take that as anything, too worrying, moving forward. We saw Nick Herbig, Jack Sawyer do an adequate job filling in for him last week. Highsmith, you're going to need him for the stretch run here. If his pectoral, if it feels the slightest bit of a problem for him to go out there, I just hold him out for another week. Make sure he is good to go because you got the Ravens and some tougher teams around the corner. Slay, we'll see if he gets out of concussion protocol. Mike Tomlin said earlier in the week that Slay, if he will be able to go, will be back into a starting role. I wonder if him being questionable, maybe progressing with the concussion protocol not as quickly as we would have thought. Maybe that gives Mike Tomlin a second thought to maybe play Pierre a little bit more like we all wanted. And Aaron Rodgers being questionable, I'm going to take that he is going to be playing. I think if you were to go up to all of the Steelers reporters and insiders there on the South Side, I would bet you that they would say he is around the 90 to 95% range that he is going to play. So I'm going to take that right now. You may be able to cross that questionable off and, almost write in Sharpie that he will be good to go on Sunday. If not, then that will be a hell of a smokescreen thrown out there by the Steelers because all signs are pointing to Rodgers playing. If he all of a sudden can't go last second, you drop in Mason Rudolph on the Bears, and that could throw them something that they may not be expecting. So those are the final injury reports for the Steelers heading into Sunday's game. As for the Bears, their injury report, so big, can't even fit it all on screen like you see right here. Lots of names to talk about here in their injury report. Multiple outs, multiple questionables as well. The two big outs that I would take notice of here, well, really three, Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, the two starting middle linebackers for the Bears, out for this weekend's game. Edmonds, brother of former Steelers Terrell and Trey Edmonds, he is out with a groin. TJ Edwards, the former Philadelphia Eagle, he is out with both a hamstring and a hand injury. And then even behind them, Noah Sewell, who I believe is a second-year player, I believe a former Oregon Duck, he's out as well. I think he's one of their backups on the interior there. He's out as well with an elbow injury. So, boom, just like that, three middle linebackers out for the Bears, and that has to have Arthur Smith smiling like a butcher's dog, not because they're hurt, of course, but because you now, with two starters and a backup out on the interior of that defense, Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, hopefully Jonnu Smith, go out there, have a field day targeting the middle of the field. I would love to see the Steelers, when they have a linebacker lined up on a tight end, to attack that relentlessly. Some other notables here for the Bears, two questionables to keep an eye on. Jalen Johnson right here and Kyler Gordon. And same thing, actually make it three. Jaquan Brisker, two starters. Brisker, one of their starting safeties. Johnson, their starting corner, probably their best corner on the team. And then Kyler Gordon, he is no slouch. I'm not sure if he's a starter, but I'm just going to go out of abundance of caution and say he's just a guy that rotates in there. Those guys on the back end are very crucial to how the Bears defend the pass. If they're gone, then look for this passing game for the Steelers maybe to get going a good bit because, Johnson, I believe he's more of a slot type of corner. You can maybe put a tight end or maybe a speed guy like a Calvin Austin on whoever his backup is. Maybe you can expose that. Jaquan Brisker, I think he's more of a downfield thumping safety, so that can open up your run game a little bit more. The defense for the Chicago Bears team really, really banged up. And, of course, moving over to the offense, a little bit of an issue there. They're starting left tackle Theo Benedette, questionable with a quad injury. And then they got two running backs on top of it, Travis Homer, Roschon Johnson. I think those are just guys that, rotate in there every now and then. But Benedette here, keep an eye on him, questionable at left tackle. That could give a bit of an advantage here for for Nick Herbig or Alex Highsmith, whoever it is that will be going for the Steelers off of that side. Quad injury, though. I would especially expect Nick Herbig to have a field day there because quad injury, going to be using that muscle a lot here to combat the pass rush. Herbig, we know he's a speed threat around the edge there. If he's going up against the hobble left tackle, I'd say you got a wounded animal. Go ahead, be the tiger, go out and get him. So that's the final injury report there for the Bears, really banged up at the second and third levels of their defense. So if the Steelers, if they can go out there, establish the run just a little bit on Sunday against the Bears, I think that could do wonders for this passing offense, and they can start attacking whatever matchup they see favorable, because they are going to get those favorable matchups if all of those guys, a majority of them that I just mentioned, are out. Some other names just to take note of here in their final injury report. Looking here, Grady Jarrett and Kevin Byard, those guys are resting all week. They'll play. Drew Dahlman, believe their starting center. They paid him big money to come to Chicago from Atlanta in the offseason. He a full go in Friday's practice with a knee injury, so you got to assume he will be good to go. Same thing for defensive back. I believe their other starting corner, besides Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, dealing with both a hip and a calf injury. He a full go in practice today. DeAndre Swift dealing with a hip injury. He's a full go. Darnell Wright, their starting right tackle, with both a pec and a hip injury. So two pretty different injuries to deal with there. He's a full go as well. All of those guys dealing with some sort of ailment, full participants today. They should be good to go on Sunday. So the Bears banged up quite a bit. The Steelers, pretty much the main thing you got to worry about them on the injury front. How is Cam Heyward's ankle doing? But we'll see how all of this plays out coming up on Sunday. Should be fun to keep track of, and I'm sure we'll bring it up before Sunday's game on the pregame notes segment. To the comment section we go here before we move along here today. THP here in the comment section again. Also say Caleb Williams can make every throw. I see flashes, but Bears wide receivers have to catch the ball. Yeah, do see Caleb Williams having flashes. He is playing much, much better with Ben Johnson in his ear now. Started out maybe a tiny bit slow for him because it is a pretty complex offense that Johnson brings. And but I think now you're seeing Williams starting to play more to his strengths and not to what the coach or offensive coordinator wants him to do. Very underrated in terms of his legs. So I want the Steelers to keep track of that as well. But let's focus on, taking away maybe one of his options, force him to force feed the ball to someone else, and maybe you can get into his head a little bit. Still just a, second year guy. So let's see if we can still maybe give him a little bit of fit as he's still adjusting to the NFL here. And then also Black Magic in here. Welcome, Mr. Magic. Glad to have you here again. Going to move things along here fairly quickly on this Friday evening, ladies and gentlemen. Going to switch things over to the Pirates here for a second. They last night making their first batch of signings, which, they actually are re-signings here. Free agency should be picking up here soon enough in baseball. And the Pirates last night making two moves that I think fans, one, they can be pretty optimistic about. The other, not so much. Let's start with the one that's not too, good in my opinion. Last night, the Pirates agreeing to a 1-year, $1.25 million contract with Jack Sawinski to avoid arbitration. Robert Murray of Fansided was the first to report that one. So Sawinski avoids arbitration, and he was speculated to be a non-tender candidate for the Pirates to just let him go. Instead, he will get a guaranteed deal and will go into spring training trying to earn a spot on the big league roster for only the 500th time. Suwinski last year, if you want more of a reason why fans are not too happy about this move, last year Suwinski hitting a 147 batting average, and he had 3 home runs last season, and yet somehow, some way, the Pirates are still thinking maybe there's still something left in there, some sort of remnant or, little piece of Suwinski back when he hit, 26 or something home runs 3 years ago. Somehow, some way, the Pirates, having not been able to develop a single bat, except for maybe, knock on wood, Connor Griffin here soon enough, for them being terrible at developing bats, they still are trying to hold on to this one brief commercial break of success that Suwinski has had in his career. But at the end of the day, maybe this is his final ultimate opportunity to see if he can pan out. He's out of minor league options. Alex Stumpf later brought up. So, we'll see if he pans out. This might be his final go around. If he does end up showing something, he's got 3 more years left of team control. If he doesn't, then the team can cut him and, have minimal effect from that. So we'll see if Suwinski, being given one last chance here, probably will finally make the big league roster and make something out of his time here in Pittsburgh. The other move that the Pirates made that I think fans are going to be pretty happy with, they did bring back right-handed reliever Yohan Ramirez on his second tour of duty with the Buccos. Spent most of last year, I believe, in AAA, ended up getting called up midway through the season and turned out to be a pretty reliable bullpen arm for the Pirates in a, mediocre to bad bullpen. He signs a 1-year, $825,000 deal last year with the Buccos. 33 and a third innings pitched, went 3-3 with a 5.40 ERA, 45 strikeouts. He is 30 years old, so we'll see if Ramirez can maybe now back with the team for a full off season and a full spring training. We'll see if Yohan can maybe carve himself a role in that Pirates bullpen. Maybe not on opening day, but probably he could come up again midway through the season. The last thing, didn't really mention this signing for the Pirates just because I didn't see anything from any of the insiders. Noah Murdoch, I believe former Oakland Athletics and Kansas City Royals pitcher, think maybe another 4A type of guy who might be a minor leaguer for most of the year, but if you need him to come up for a week, he can. Noah Murdoch announcing himself yesterday that he has been signed by the Pirates and will be ready to go for spring training. So congratulations to those 3 gentlemen. Just some other news, free agency related to the Pirates. Add on another pretty well-known name in MLB, in the MLB world, that is being linked to the Pirates. This from Jorge Castillo, does some reporting on baseball for ESPN, not the most well-known ESPN baseball reporter out there like your Jeff Passons and others of the world. But Castillo mentioning the Pirates as a possible but long shot landing spot for New York Mets first baseman Pete Alonso. Now, I believe we go back to last offseason, the Pirates fans, they were going nuts saying, hey, you want to solve your issue at first base, no more patchwork with Rowdy Tellez and Carlos Santana and those types of guys, Connor Joe even. Why don't go out there, make a big splash, go get the polar bear, a guy with some legitimate home run pop. Well, second off season in a row now, ended up going back to the Mets last year. Now he's going to test the free agent market again. I know you got Spencer Horwitz, but you can't let Horwitz get in the way of you bringing in a guy with pure raw home run power, which this team desperately needs. I'd rather sign Alonso and figure out a spot for Horwitz on the diamond, another day than to let Horwitz say, hey, we already got a pretty decent first baseman. We don't need to go pursuing a guy like this. Like, no, please go pursue a guy like that. Open up every single avenue, overturn every single rock that you possibly can in this offseason, because now all of a sudden, just a couple of days ago, Jeff Passan comes out with the article. The Pirates are in on this guy. They're in on that guy. They offered over $80 million to this guy. They're in on some Japanese free agents as well, which, by the way, they just officially became posted yesterday. First baseman Kazuma Okamoto and Kona Takahashi, amongst many others. Munetaka Murakami, he's coming over. Tatsui Imai, another third baseman. Kiwoom Heroes, and Sung Mim. Lots of corner infielders coming in over Japan. At least a few of them have been mentioned by Jeff Passan and some other insiders that the Pirates are going to do their digging on. Please. I know you probably need more than just one of these big guys, but you want to at least get a tiny portion of the fan base back in your good graces and show that you're kind of trying, can't fail this year in pursuing one of these guys. Can't be the bridesmaid once again. Can't be, oh, we came in a second or a third for these guys. No, let's get aggressive here. Let's get one of those guys, and let's see, some real action being taken and some real pursuit towards winning happening here. By the way, also Dejan Kovacic, DK Pittsburgh Sports, he added today finally something from a local insider, not someone out there in the national world. DK of Pittsburgh Sports saying that the Pirates are internally talking about putting up the payroll around $110 million. Now, is that enough? Maybe, just maybe for a pitching staff led by Paul Skeens, the best pitcher walking God's green earth. But in the grand scheme of things, I still think you need to go above 110, but at least it'll be a tiny bit of a starting point. And what I'm saying here, I mean with absolutely zero intent of giving them the benefit of the doubt. They need to be so much better in their offseason practices than just $110 million. But let's at least see a step going out there, getting one of those big fishes this offseason. Someone who is going to bring some raw power from Japan, I believe. Murakami, who plays a little bit of third and first base, left-handed batter. I believe he is. It's either him or Okamoto, one of those two. Left-handed bat, pure power. Let him hit a couple of bombs into the Allegheny River, or go out, get a Pete Alonso, go get a Kyle Schwarber. Would love to see a top of the lineup for the Pirates be led by true power threat in Schwarber, and then maybe follow him up with a Connor Griffin or an O'Neal Cruz, a guy who has got some speed on the bases. So please, Pirates, finally, let's do something of note here. You've now got multiple insiders, even some local reporters, saying the Pirates are going to spend some money and they're in on these big free agents. Expectations, they've been raised, whether you like it or not. Mr. Bob Nutting and Mr. Ben Cherington, time to come through on one of those. And better not be, we were in on everyone and ended up settling back on these guys, and the payroll is still below $100 million. So let's go. Time to put on your big boy pants here, gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, going to get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment of the program here, wrapping up this week's slate of news here on the channel. Appreciate you all joining me again here tonight. Going back to the comment section here for 1 second. Concepts, welcome back. Long day of work, but I'm here. Glad to have you back. Concepts, as always. Hope all of you, again, I'll pop this up one more time here and one more time at the end of the show. Please come on back Sunday. Should be a fun day here on the stream. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers is a good to go for Steelers versus Bears. Will Aaron Rodgers one more time turn back the clock, become the owner of the Cleveland Bears, go out on top in that matchup? All right, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Wrapping up this week of Pittsburgh sports news. Going to go into the hockey world here to kick off the extra Pittsburgh sports news. Got Penguins pregame on over here to my right. The black and gold back in action tonight for the first time since Sunday when they took on the Predators over in Sweden. Puck drop coming up a little bit past 7 o'clock. If I had to guess, puck drop will be going down pretty much about an hour from now. Is Hockey Fights Cancer night there in Pittsburgh, so a cool night, always a special night there in Pittsburgh. It'll be especially cool this year because Penguins assistant coach Mike Stothers, I'm sure it'll be an emotional game for him on Hockey Fights Cancer night. He, not all that long ago, beating stage 3 melanoma when he was a part of the Anaheim Ducks, so congratulations to him. Glad that he is now in Pittsburgh. Onto the injury front for the Pens, just a bit of an injury update ahead of tonight's game. Once again, they practiced a little bit. They skated, I should say, on Wednesday. They were off yesterday. They were back on the ice today. Some injured players, Noel Acciari, Justin Brazeau, Tristan Jarry, those three getting some work on the ice before the Penguins' morning skate today. No word on Ricard Raquel, however. He was skating on Wednesday, was off yesterday. Did not see anything on him if he was on the ice here today, but at least some positive news. The Penguins, who forward depth has been hit pretty damn hard as of late. Maybe Brazeau and Acciari, they could be getting those two gentlemen back sooner rather than later. Some updates on tonight's game, however, from head coach Dan Muse. Arturs Shalovs, he will be in net again. Had a fantastic showing against the Nashville Predators going back to last Friday, just last week this time. Shalovs against the Predators for the Penguins, playing probably their worst game of the season. He kept them in there and damn near by himself dragged them to victory. Unfortunately, there at the end, Predators get a quick goal there with a minute left to go in the game, and then they went in overtime, not putting that game on Shalovs whatsoever, hoping, week off for him, maybe. Hopefully he doesn't have any sort of rust that needs to be shaken off. Couple other injury reports as well from Dan Muse that he talked about. Jack St. Ivany, Penguins defenseman, haven't seen him at all yet this year, coming off of a broken foot from the preseason. He progressing in his recovery today, was in a regular contact jersey at the morning skate. So that's an upgrade in his participation for him. Philip Hollander, gonna, mention him here. First time we've mentioned him in a while. Scary situation with him. Just a couple of weeks ago was reported to have a blood clot in his leg. Not sure if it was the left or the right. I believe it was the left. He today cleared, permitted to do some physical activity off the ice as he recovers from that. So some positive news from him on a very serious injury, not your typical injury. Blood clots, and us Penguins fans over the past couple of years seeing different players deal with blood clots as well. We know how serious those things should be taken. Off the ice for the Penguins, some two extra stories. This one getting a lot of traction. This in, I think, 24 hours, over 350 reposts. Evgeni Malkin talking to RG Media Group. They do some work in the hockey world and are quickly establishing themselves as a big hockey, won't say broadcast, but big hockey social media following. Malkin talking to them about his future with the Penguins. We do know that there is a conversation, a meeting scheduled to come up here during the Olympic break in a couple of months between Malkin, his representation, and Penguins management led by General Manager and President of Hockey Operations Kyle Dubas. Gino today, or yesterday I should say, sounding off on his future with the Black and Golden. This should make everyone feel better that Malkin will retire in the Black and Gold. You see it right here. I do not see myself in another jersey. not in Florida, not in Colorado, anywhere. I spent my whole life in Pittsburgh. I love the fans. I love the city. I want to finish here. Almost a bit of a change of tone from what we heard from Evgeni Malkin, back before the season started. I think maybe this is Gino speaking because the Penguins are off to a very hot start, exceeding expectations that we've had for them up until this point in the season. And also, I believe on some betting markets, the Penguins have now moved back above a 50% shot to make the playoffs. So I wonder if this is Gino talking about, I wonder if this is Gino, maybe having a bit of a change of tone from what he had before the season started because the Penguins are off to a better than expected start. Or maybe he actually does feel this way and wants to stay a Penguin forever. Maybe saying, hey, I will lower my price for a, contract extension because I love it here, which I do believe Gino deep down does it, but deep down does love Pittsburgh, I mean. But also, one thing I want to take some big stock in here, the very beginning of that quote. I don't see myself in another jersey, not in Florida or Colorado. Those two spots of particular interest, and I love that choice of words there from Gino because he, in the offseason, mentioning the Brad Marchand leaving Boston, going to Florida and winning a Stanley Cup situation, Gino maybe hinting that he could follow that path. And also, haven't really heard anything of Gino being linked to the Avalanche, but I will take at least a tiny bit of note of it because we all know Sidney Crosby always is being linked and rumored to be a Colorado Avalanche at some point in his career because of Nate McKinnon, but not Gino. So I found that interesting, but very good news right there. Love seeing that from Evgeni Malkin. He going to be staying in Pittsburgh per his words. And the last thing here on the Penguins for today, congratulations to former Pens defenseman Jeff Petrie. He last night playing his 1,000th NHL game, and a very cool thing from his family. There's a picture out there of him on the ice for his 1,000 game recognition ceremony. His 4 kids out there wearing the 4 different kinds of 4 different jerseys representing the teams that he's played for in his career, other than the Panthers, who he's currently on. His, I believe, third child, his third oldest child wearing the Penguins jersey. So thought that was a very cool touch. Moving back into the Pittsburgh Steelers here for a quick moment, just some little things on them. Interesting here, the Players Tribune, believe giving the voice of football to the players, NFL players can put out what they feel like in sort of a formal setting out there. This Players Tribune, with an article from George Pickens, was just put out today. And it was by Pickens, edited by his mom, and Pickens addressing his time with the Steelers in this article. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of it here. Now, the media in Pittsburgh, I admit I was trolling y'all a little bit. I apologize, but I don't have a bad word to say about Pittsburgh. I can call up Coach T right now, and we'd have a real conversation. What I respect about him most is he always told me, just keep being you, George. It just wasn't the long-term fit for where my journey was headed, and that's okay. They did right by me. They sent me to Dallas, which is the perfect spot right now. So that little bit there from Pickens on his time in Pittsburgh, I guess, maybe trying to get back into some good graces, I guess, with some Steelers fans. I think as much as, some Steelers fans out there are saying right now, oh, we shouldn't have gotten rid of Pickens. Look at him down there in Dallas. Now we could have had a outstanding 2-headed monster with him and Metcalf. But also there's fans out there who do realize that the Pickens we're seeing this year down in Dallas was going to be nowhere close to the Pickens we would have gotten here in Pittsburgh, and maybe this is him saying, "Hey, I hold no grudges to you. I hope maybe you can view me in a little bit of a better light right now." So just wanted to bring that up. Interesting there from Pickens. Haven't really seen anything like this before. Players putting out their own sort of news articles on themselves on their situation. But Pickens out there saying that he still loves Pittsburgh, but kind of like how Pittsburgh agreed with him by trading him. It wasn't going to be a long-term fit there. Just some other things here, quick things on the Steelers today. This came out a couple of days ago, but it just came across my feed recently. Apparently, Josh Gordon, former NFL wide receiver, I believe former Cleveland Brown as well, he says on some sort of podcast that Russell Wilson floated the idea to the Steelers last year about signing Josh Gordon, and that nothing really came of it. But wonder what y'all would have think of that. Josh Gordon, I believe at that point was out of the NFL, but didn't he sort of 420 his way out of the NFL or something? Maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. But yeah, what would y'all have thought of Josh Gordon coming to the Steelers? In the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't have really mattered that much, but could he have maybe been a tiny bit better than Mike Williams, aside from Williams catching that touchdown game-winning pass against the Commanders? I mean, wouldn't have had all that high of a bar to clear, so not upset that it didn't happen, but was intrigued by it. And the last couple of things here on the Steelers for today before we wrap up the show. Again, not sure if I mentioned this yesterday, but I'll bring it up again. I'll bring it up again now. Congratulations to Darnell Washington. He winning Angry Run of the Week for Good Morning Football. No surprise there. Got his scepter, the Angry Run scepter that is sent all around the country to these different NFL teams, and Washington gifting the scepter to Steelers tight end coach Alfredo Roberts. So thought that was cool. Last two things on the Steelers here today. Congratulations, or I should say happy birthday to Steelers OLB Nick Herbig. Gotta remember to keep that one in mind when game time rolls around on Sunday. That might be a part of my final that could be a part of my final game day predictions. Maybe Nick Herbig gets himself a little happy birthday sack on Caleb Williams. And also, last thing, cool gesture here. Thanksgiving right around the corner. And Alex Highsmith today visiting youth places there in Pittsburgh, participating in a cooking demonstration and etiquette for some local youth. So that's cool there from Highsmith. And the final thing of extra Pittsburgh sports news I'll say today, do not cover them here on the channel. Maybe if I get a little bit more educated in this sport, I will. Good luck tomorrow in the USL Championships to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They are taking the city by storm right now, the local soccer team. Wonder if that game will be on Sportsnet Pittsburgh over here to my right tomorrow. Maybe we'll tune into that among the slate of college football games. But good luck to them tomorrow, the Riverhounds. Go Hounds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to be wrapping up the live stream here for the evening. In a second, back to the comments section. Concepts and Magic greeting themselves here. Concepts, Perk Rodgers about to go off. Didn't want to say it, but that's my exact thoughts too. Confirmed by himself well in the past. Rodgers will do anything to get out there on the field, and he's going to have some extra motivation heading into this Bears game. So I think Rodgers, you can probably predict that one come hell or high water, if he needs to, take maybe a little bit of a shot or two to the hand, numb that thing up to go back out there, he will do it. So I think if you're going to see at any point for the rest of the season, Aaron Rodgers turn back the clock, go back to that MVP form, sort of have a week one type of performance he had against the Jets, it would be this weekend. there's any other team out there that he hates more than the Jets, it'd probably be the Bears. And let's see if Rodgers can do it one more time before he probably rides off into the sunset. Black Magic, I love that comment there. Concepts here again. Rodgers with a rushing touchdown of more than 10 to 15 yards. I'm calling it. We did see Rodgers show a tiny bit of wheel scrambling for a first down against the Bengals, but a 10 to 15 yard rushing touchdown. They're going to be, taking the stuff that they give him for his hands and make sure it affects his legs as well, because, wow, that is as bold of a bold prediction as I'll probably see for a game for the rest of the season there. You got to remember to keep that one there. Bring that one back on Sunday there, Concepts. Would love to see that. I will go nuts here if that ends up being the case. That'd be like seeing a cow jump over the moon here. Last thing here, Magic here, could see that happening. Not sure. I saw your comment. Not sure if you were talking about the Rodgers rushing touchdown or the Josh Gordon thing. Concept here. Josh Gordon and Martavis Bryant got scammed. Meanwhile, Tom Brady factually did PEDs his whole career that they never banned till he retired. A Leaf gets he banned, but they shovel pain pills into players. Yeah, think they recently cut back a tiny bit on the medical cannabis type stuff. But yeah, like the other stuff there, Tom Brady, don't really, remember him PEDs and all that. We do know that he did drink that weird stuff on the sideline with the water bottle and stuff like that. Not sure if it came from there, but I guess, you want to go into put on the tinfoil hat here, Concepts. We know you're big into that. Ain't it funny how, like you said, that stuff gets retired or banned, and you should say when Brady gets retired, can't have the greatest of all time in some sort of bad light, getting a bad rap. How old would Josh Gordon have been last year? Could have been a fit, to be honest, better than Mike Williams maybe. Let me bring up Josh Gordon's Pro Football Reference here, see if it comes up. Gordon, he is, the load here. He is 34 years old. Man, thought he was more around 32. Gordon is 34, so he would have just turned 34, or would have been 33 last year by the time the trade deadline rolled around. So interesting. I mean, 6'3", 225. I mean, yeah, you had George Pickens, but you could have used another big body, kind of like the similar situation that the Steelers are in still right now. But wonder, 33 years old, would the wheels have still been on him there? I'm not all that certain. Played for a lot of teams in his NFL career. The Browns, Patriots, Seahawks, Chiefs, and then wrapped it up with the Titans. Since when was he a part of the Titans in 2022? I do remember him getting the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. But when the hell was he on the Titans? I have no recollection of him being there, so that's crazy. A tinfoil hat, didn't even think of that, but you're spot on with that. LOL, needed that laugh. Keenan Allen, 34, is 34-35, but one has been in shape, and the other, who knows, would have been interesting. I would have loved to have Keenan Allen last year. And, he back out west where he wants to be. I thought he would have done excellent in this offense, whether it's Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. He would have been that true deep threat that this team has been lacking. They haven't used DK Metcalf that way all that much, so Allen would have been a nice refresher there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, going to take one final scroll here through Twitter before the show wraps up here. Do we have anything else here? This 25 minutes ago from Alex Stumpf had his post on Jack Sawinski popped up a little bit ago. As expected, the Pirates non-tendering the 4 players that they designated for assignment earlier in the week. That is relievers Dari Moreta and Colin Horderman. Moreta still a tiny bit of a shock to me. Ronnie Simon and Alexander Canario. None of those four gentlemen will be brought back to the Pirates in 2026. So good luck with them in their next endeavor. This interesting here. Speaking of non-tenders around MLB today, the Texas Rangers non-tendering right fielder with some pop in his bat, Adolis Garcia, had a phenomenal run when the Rangers were in the World Series a handful of years ago. You want to talk about maybe adding a guy to put out in one of the corner outfield spots and maybe hit 20 to 25, hell, who knows, maybe even 30 bombs for you. Love to have Adolis Garcia. We'll see if anyone reports the Pirates are in on him. Wouldn't mind that. Pretty cool here from some of the Penguins players as they're walking in tonight wearing purple. That sort of light purple or pink. That the logo for the Hockey Fights Cancer Night in the NHL is. Believe that is Chris Letang there wearing a all-purple suit. Sidney Crosby, same thing, similar getup there. Erik Karlsson, gray suit with a purple bow tie. Brian Rust just wearing in a Hockey Fights Cancer warm-up jersey that they're going to be wearing tonight, so that's cool. Same thing for Kevin Hayes. Awesome stuff there from the Pens. See here. Do we have anything else here before we log off tonight? Apparently, Christian Kuntz is doing a Snickers commercial. I'm confused and was not expecting to see that tonight. Christian Kuntz is the Steelers long snapper. He is doing a Snickers commercial. Huh. Guess the Pirates need to, or the Steelers could use an actor player. That's pretty interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to just about wrap it up here tonight. One last comment here from Concepts. Missed it earlier. Is Highsmith back? Any surprise injury-wise? Yes, Highsmith back practicing. Practiced again, I believe, the third day of limited participation for Highsmith today. He's actually doubtful for Sunday. Cam Heyward, though, see your reaction there, Concepts. DMP the last 2 days. That was him resting. That was Heyward resting. But today, after practice, reported he was in a walking boot. It's an ankle injury. He is questionable. So hopefully Cam Heyward is good to go. I agree with that. Their Concepts. So whatever they give Aaron Rodgers for his hand, why don't we make sure Cam Heyward gets a little bit of it, because it's been, knock on wood, steady on the D line. You haven't had too many hits to the defensive line. You started the year a couple of weeks without Derek Harmon. You were able to get past that. You were down Isaiah Loudermilk, Daniel Ekwale for the year now, but don't want to test the depth of this D line any more than we've already had. So please, let's try to get Heyward as healthy as possible to Sunday, and let's get him out there on the field. Ekwale around again. Loudermilk is out. Those two, they were the primary backups at defensive end and nose tackle. Now both of them are out. You're on to Y.A. Black and Azezio Tememwo, and hopefully those guys are able to step up, because if Heyward's out, I don't know what the Steelers are going to do to replace him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looking here at Twitter, not seeing anything outstanding here to bring up for the rest of the night here on the channel. So I think we are going to wrap things up there. It was a fun Friday stream. Thank you all for joining once again. A little bit of a PSA announcement. No SCSR 60 tonight. Instead, going to get into some pregame work for Sunday against the Bears. So again, hopefully all of you join me back here then. For the final time here tonight, thank you. Subscribe to the channel on your way out if you have not done so already. Like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comments section. Final word here from Concepts. Danny Smith will fill in for Cam and dominate. Oh my goodness. Could you imagine Danny Smith out there? Don't even give him a mouth guard. Do not even give Danny Smith a mouth guard. He's just going to have so much gum in his mouth that's going to protect his teeth enough. So yeah, I would love to see Danny Smith get out there. Him and his as a 3 tech, that would be outstanding. He would dominate too. You want to see some all-pro caliber stuff? Let's get Danny out there. You know he's may not get to the quarterback, but he is going to give it his all. The bubble gum mouth guard. He's just going to take the full stick of Hubba Bubba, just not even break it out of the package, just sort of bend that thing a little bit and tuck it in there. So, yeah, Danny Smith. Hopefully the special teams. I'll go out on a limb here and say the special teams. They'll make a play. They'll make a play on Sunday as well. It's about time it's been a little bit since we've seen a turnover from the special teams unit or a touchdown. Maybe we get one of those on Sunday, hopefully. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Thank you all for joining me here on this chilly Friday evening. Back here on Sunday again, like I said, for Steelers versus Bears. Should be a fun afternoon where hopefully Aaron Rodgers will play and one time prove that he is the daddy of the Chicago Bears. Thank you all. See you back here on Sunday for Steelers Bears, and then we'll reconvene in this setting on Monday. Have a good rest of your Friday and a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. See you back here on Sunday for Steelers versus Bears. Peace.